it will be the last board member for me personally that was on the board that actually hired me 10 years ago. So I'm entering into a new phase of my career. The unknown may be as responsible for, so you can blame him, maybe as responsible for me being in this position as anyone, and I will be forever grateful that he had the faith and belief in me to do this job. So for 12 years of unbelievable service, I want to give an award to our outgoing board member and a good friend, Sean Sullivan. Sean's not big on speeches.
Well, what I will say is that I bought some rather expensive tickets to a Pink Floyd tribute band concert, and a gentleman who stood up at our wedding, and who I've known since I was 12, was performing that night. So we're out at the Brower Center in Crystal Lake. We're getting ready to head down. We're in a bar beforehand, and my boys won't leave the bar because of the fact that the Maine West girls basketball team. And they're telling me that this is an absolutely incredible game. Now, Jared can tell you what my boys are like, especially my oldest son, to whom wrestling and football is everything. Wrestling and football was nothing compared to the screaming they were doing that night watching this basketball. So I can tell you, ladies, that it's a rounded support and education and teamwork that makes something happen. And to see my two boys screaming that loud for you in a rather crowded bar as I'm saying, listen, we have tickets to a concert, let's go. It was great. And thank you all for 12 years. Ken and I had a specific deal that he wouldn't do this, so.
I will pay for this.
Ken might not be here next week. Thank you.
For several of the students tonight, you heard the term Project Lead the Way. Well, Project Lead the Way is a real theme. It is an engineering-based curriculum, and there's decades of research behind it. And what the research says is that if you go through Project Lead the Way, you're much more likely to stick in schools of engineering where there's a really high dropout rate. You're much more likely to work as an engineer because you got to try on engineering for vocation. So about 5 years ago, I posed the question, what if we tried to do that for everything? Whether a kid wanted to be a meteorologist or a videographer or a nurse or a doctor or a coder. What if we tried to do that for everything? This is the work we're literally trying to invent in this district. It's hard work. When we started this work, we had 74 business partners. We had about 230 students getting internships a year, and they were getting it in a specific class. Most of our kids never would or could even take that class. Today, 5 years later, we were up to about 600 business partners. We have over 1,200 students this year alone who will get relevant career experiences, and we think that's actually a deflated number. It's actually much higher than that. You heard some of the experiences today. So what I'd like to do is turn the rest of this little portion over to Laura Cook, who is our original district career coordinator. Stand up, Laura, and your team. We have, with Laura, we have Laura Wilkins, who is our Maine South career coordinator. Kyla Henson from Maine West, and Kylie Musi, who is new and at Maine East High School, and they're going to tell you just very briefly a little bit about our integrated career services. So I'll turn it over to our team.
So for the students in the crowd, you might know me as the lady who sends you the email blast, don't freak out about your future.
Freak out Fridays.
Yes. Don't freak out.
And we do have some of our basketball girls that I know are interns as well, so kudos to all of you for doing that, even with basketball and all your sports.
Actually, if you're on the basketball team and you've done an internship, stand up. We want to see you get it. Come on, don't be shy.
Rachel, you did one, physical therapy.
So I just want to give you a quick background, and actually I can give you one image that shows you about this background. It's a march. It's not a speedboat. We're pivoting away from just graduating students from high school, and we're actually making a move to what is beyond, and not only is what is beyond, but why is that? Why are you continuing your education? Why do you want to work there? What do you want to do as a career? How do you want to impact the world? So our goal, instead of just graduating high school, is to take every student's interest and aptitude and to try to find the courses that are relevant to that interest, to that aptitude, and what experiences. And you heard a lot of them. Be they extracurriculars, be they different career experiences, and then having that lead to employers and to what's next for their education. So that is our new goal. We put this into a concept map, and this middle section here are all the different kinds of career experiences that you have. I'll read them off real quick, so in case you can't see them, because the font is a little bit small. Guest speaker, career panel, career treks, job shadow, workshop, internship, seminars, having mentors, employment, and the extracurricular student clubs. Moving from left to right, we have the different pathways, leading specific experiences to our career experiences, and then the different types of education, not just a four-year university or college, but what the industry demands as far as maybe an apprenticeship with a 2-year degree or a certification 4-year. And certification's not just after the fact they graduate and receive this diploma, but within their career experiences, within their classes, what kind of industry certifications can they have, so that when they're leaving, they already have some under their belt. So this is informed, the courses, the types of experiences, we're not just picking them out of the dark. We are looking to our employers for information and informing us so that we can offer some types of experiences, and that's informing what we're doing within high school. So it's not a one-way road, we're learning from them. So, tidbit of information, if we're looking at all of the top 100 employment, the occupations within Maine Township itself, within our footprint that we serve, almost 70% are under a 4-year education. So entry level in the top 100 occupations within Maine Township, almost 70% do not need a 4-year diploma to start off in. And that's important information as we inform our students. So going back to 3 of our students, Jessica, and she says I have to do this when I'm talking about her. It was already mentioned that she liked fixing small appliances, and she can do any type of furniture from IKEA for anyone. So that probably should be a new business, part of your business plan. You heard about some of the courses that she was taking, some of the electives. Some of the things, those career experiences I was talking about, include a live code seminar where we had a former Facebook coder come to South for an afternoon during the summer and talk to our students about what it's like, and not just what he does, but what kind of emotional toll it took, how he communicates with his parents, because he had a definite personality that is similar to a lot of people going into that business, and how to interpret things in the world with that in mind. So it's not just this is what I do, but it's a lot more about this is how I do, this is why I do, and connecting with the students. Another career experience she had was called the Fearless Girls Workshop. We invite women leaders in the community that are in leadership positions in corporate America, and we have them meet with students. They're here in a panel, but they sat at each table and they try to make a connection with each student to tell them about maybe some challenges they had being a woman in corporate America, but also the many successes and how they can feel empowered as young women going into the world after high school as well. Another career experience we had is a career trek, which is a field trip with a big focus on the career piece, meeting with specific staff members from the CEO to anyone in the business at all. Everyone's important because that moves the business forward. And learning about not just the background of the company itself, but the industry itself, and maybe some competitors and what they all do, and then some hands-on experiences within that track. and then you heard about what she is probably going to be doing in the future. Our next student is Violet, and heard about that information. Some of the career experiences that she had, in addition to what they talked about, what they found on their own, these are ones that we helped them discover and sign up for and took them to. This one was a very short career trek. It was in the main south circle in the front. We had a land surveying company come and demonstrate one of the significant pieces of equipment that they're learning about in their industry, which is a drone, and how they use that. Another one is, we had March Madness. We capitalized on basketball March Madness and college rep March Madness, and we added career March Madness. So we had career speakers come, and Violet attended one in a civil engineering class. And the last one you heard about was her internship with Christopher Burke. Our student that you heard a little bit about, Jackie, who had an interest in the science of meteorology. And these were some of the classes that she took that were specifically related. I want you to pay attention to the variety of classes and how, if you think about being a meteorologist and then perhaps tying that together with her broadcasting interest and maybe delivering and being like a meteorologist on a stage and on TV or something, how all of these things really play into it. And you wouldn't think maybe those were initially, we should be taking all these classes, they seem disjointed, but if you think of that in that regard, they are very much together. And that's part of our job, is connecting those things. She attended a career track at WTTW, which is important because she saw a soundstage. And then another one was the D207 TV production company that Dr. Wallace had started, that Kayla Hansen is leader.
Great, so I'm going to give you a brief overview of what the District 207 production company, District 207 TV is, that Dr. Wallace envisioned this idea that student interns at each building would work together to come up with some fantastic materials for the district. So it's helping us not only tell our success stories with our students, but more importantly, giving our students like Jackie a great career experience themselves. And there's some pictures of her working and filming here. Sorry, Jackie, a lot of pictures coming up of you. So the goals of the program is to showcase our success stories on student interns. We have a lot of times of the interns filming other interns, so that happens quite a bit, and it's a little inception there a little bit. But also to provide the career experiences to these broadcasting students and give them what it's like to hear feedback from a client, what it is like to have to reshoot something over and over again, or how to make it more professional when it's not exactly something you might be interested in. That's your project that's given to you. That happens in the real world. So all these different things that she's learned with her internship. And these are the roles they take on. It is a full cycle program development, so they are not only finding the projects to do with our staff assistants, they are producing them, writing them, creating a storyboard, filming, editing, producing, all of the above. They're even meeting company partner sites, interviewing those hosts, those site hosts, to get some, feedback and interviewing them based on what the project could be. So they are doing everything. And basically how it works is we brainstorm the assignment. They are filming, editing, drafting constantly. Then the interesting part is we have a kind of communication between Brett Clark, myself, and the broadcasting teachers at each school that give guidance, feedback, help, and assistance on what they can improve on. So there's a lot of feedback going into this process. And then the finished product comes out. So Jackie, will you stand up again, Jackie? Why don't you come over here? I want to say a few words about Jackie. I've had the pleasure of working with her. Yeah, come on up. Awesome.
And
I have had the
people
pleasure.
have requested to see your video too. So.
Yeah. I have had the pleasure of working with Jackie for 2 years as our intern for District 207 at Maine West, and Ms. Orr could not be here tonight, but she said Jackie brings a huge special personality to her class of creativity and mindfulness and happiness, and really is the whole package when it comes to someone going into environmental sciences pathway along with the broadcasting arts, media, and communication pathway. And it's really interesting looking at your classes, and that's what you're going into, but your award was 1 in 10 honorable mentions nationally given to you for the college level, for the One Earth Film Festival, and it was an environmental issue video. So you really are bringing in all of your passions into the real world, so I love that. And thank you for being a fantastic intern. We are really going to miss you next year, but I have no doubt you're going to do amazing things at Valparaiso, where you're majoring in meteorology and then minoring in digital media. So congratulations. Yeah. That is it for our career experiences presentation right now. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much. So a couple of things on our concept map. We're using actually a suite of tools this year. The first district in America to use the 3 tools that we're using, and one of them actually lets us search by zip code any job, and it says what the mean starting salary is, the availability of jobs. What we're really trying to get to is return on investment counseling. One of the problems that's in America in general is just the overburden of debt that our kids are going into. And so we're trying to really run some formulas about how much you should actually spend to get a degree for a job. And some of that's based on, does the job exist, what are your odds of getting it, and how much does that job pay? So we're really trying to invent, and no one really does that work. So we're on a new frontier here to do it. But the team, Laura, Kayla, that you just met, and Laura Wilkins, the other Laura, we have 2 Lauras, and Kylie, just a phenomenal team, and so we're very happy. This is, you see the kids here, but there's a lot of things that go on in the background with teachers, with our career coordinators to help make it happen. So with that, we are done. Thank you for indulging me, but I thought it was a good night to sort of try to tell the story of the why and the what behind what we're doing. So thank you all so much. Everybody that was honored tonight has been with Mr. Clark. We do pictures.
Yeah. You're going to want to take pictures. I was like, Rachel, you take physical therapy. Stand up.
Thank you so much. I'll go grab one. I'll go grab a piece of that. I waited. It was hard to do that.
All right, Judy.
Not for my car.
Terrific. Nice. Very good. Thank you. Very good.
Thank you for coming to see you.
Oh,
Is this mom?
Yeah.
my little bit of interaction.
Thank you so much. Check back in with us. Yeah.
All right, thanks for coming today.
She actually just called the board.
I want to take one. Okay, well, it's so nice to meet you.
Okay, are there any other public comments?
Thank you.
Yes, I said I would. Yeah, it's okay. Karen, do you have any other?
I think I'm done.
Okay, and I do, any updates from board members?
Is under me. Yes. So if anyone's ever interested in like criminal justice, they'll want to see the other side of it. I'd be happy to, you know, of course.
Certainly they're looking for support with so anybody can.
So just thank you so much for being with us. That's great. I'll reach out to
And I'm going to get introduce Alan Blue, who is one of our graduates. He is one of the co-founders of LinkedIn.
Since this is a very low-key time, I just want to thank.
Here's Sandy.
Oh, Sandy, did you want to speak? Sandy, did you want to? Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Well, sure. I'm Sandy Dias, I'm a member of the Educational Foundation, which is holding its very, very important 25th anniversary benefit this coming Wednesday, April 10th. And we are, there's some paperwork that I provided to Ginny. Yeah, it's just a reminder of our invitation. If you are thinking of coming, please do. The way to get tickets is on our website that Mansour created for us, Maine-207foundation.org. We have been around for 25 years. We are honoring Jim Blue at our event this year. He was the founding chair and has stuck with us through all those years. And his son is coming to speak on, I'm not exactly sure what he's going to say, but if you know Alan Blue, he's a co-founder of LinkedIn. So I'm sad that I didn't get to tell the rest of the crowd about this. We think it's pretty exciting, but not surprising that he would come back to honor his father. And he loves Maine West. He had a great experience there. He's on their wall of honor. So we look forward to hearing from him. This is our main fundraiser. This is how we get the money that then we get to turn around and give to teachers and students to further your goals. So, we're in this together. We have given out over the last 2 years $42,000 in grants, and we raise every penny of that each year. So I urge you to consider coming. If you cannot come, to consider a donation. We've had some very nice gifts sent our way from some of our vendors and others in the community. So that's my message.
I just mailed out the check. Just mailed out the check today. I hope it's not too late.
All right, I got your email. Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you, Sandy.
Thanks, Cindy. Garrison.
Okay. Is that? It's someone's phone, not mine. Oh, all right.
Not mine.
It's crickets.
It's okay.
It's
It's okay.
Thank
We
you.
will give Dr. Pressler appropriate feedback when he returns.
No, I just wanted to take a moment just to thank Sean. I want you to know that I know you don't like these things, so I didn't say it in the big room, but I wanted to write you a limerick. I thought that would be an appropriate way, but it's not easy to rhyme with Sean necessarily, so I did not. But I want to thank you because... so the words weren't working well. But I wanted to thank you because I think you've always been really supportive of especially newer members, helping them, teaching, and you have a lot of expertise, which we will miss. And I think it's incumbent on all of us to try and rise to the occasion and be a critical thinker, as Sean has been for all these years. And I think you've represented the district and this board really well. So just a personal
Thank you. I'm confident that you all will.
You will answer the phone, right?
From the meeting.
Not for Ken.
I need you in my finance committee meeting.
Yeah, I might come just for amusement.
Oh, now it begins.
You know that part where there's public comment? There's a whole bunch of stuff I couldn't say as a board
Slowly
member.
turns.
What will do, go, Linda? Do you have any questions?
We're all going to be saying that.
Sean, just quickly, same as, just echoing Carla. I truly really appreciate all the service that you have done, and your knowledge has been really great for I have truly learned so much, and I was so confident that we have so many great leaders, especially like you, who really kind of guide like our ship or boat to the right way, and I truly want to thank you for that.
Well, as long as we delete it off the tape, I'll say nice things about Ken. At that point, 10 years ago, I honestly believe the district was at a critical juncture. We were at a intersection. We were either going to go the wrong direction or the right direction. We were struggling internally with administration, and we had to pick a direction. And there was a lot of discussion between the board. And you know, when you've got 7 members, and pretty much 2 of us that supported Ken, and there were 2 or 3 other candidates who were supported by other members of the board. And so I honestly believe that this was the right way to go. And I think that when you look at the team that Ken has there, you don't want a bunch of people that say yes to you. The reason I keep telling my boss, if something happens to me, hire Mary Glue. Now, she won't say yes to you, however, she'll do the job right. You know, I think that's what he surrounded himself with, was people of integrity, people of intelligence, and I think the same thing stands for the principals. We interviewed the principals when they came in, and it was important that people get chosen that weren't just going to turn around and follow the flow. That when he has his cabinet meetings, there were people who were going to stand up to him there. Now, once they turn around and get it here, obviously we expect their support, you know, and they're supposed to go in the same path. But, you know, there are plenty of opportunities to tell the superintendent what to think. And I believe that he surrounded himself with people that does that. So I think that as taxpayers and parents, we're lucky to turn around and have the leadership within the district.
Well, and thanks for the role you had in that, because it is really important.
I want to say thank you too, because I ran with you 4 years ago, and I was very naive entering that process, and not only were you a friend and a guide in that, but you just, all the education, all the finance knowledge, everything, you've really kind of been a tutor to all of us, I think. So I think we can hopefully follow in your footsteps to make you proud.
Thank you, and you're welcome.
Mike, there were some crickets calling for you when you were gone.
Check your bag.
I think it's your phone.
Actually, it does.
Marina, you just got Mike in
I
trouble.
felt it on my watch, sorry.
It seemed as if it was a timer
Yeah.
for our public speakers, so it actually worked to our advantage.
So how well do you get along with Sandy? Because she was speaking, but also the crickets.
Sorry. I thought it was,
But it's okay. We all blame Mike. So
You're the clear. You're the clear.
Well, I just hope that, Sean, you would answer Paul for questions that we would have for the newbies.
I promise to answer the phone, and if I don't, Ken has figured out that you can just call my wife, who will immediately call her.
That is true.
that on yours.
That is true.
Okay, anything else?
The last week, just want to quickly say, IASB, the North School dinner gathering, was hosted at the Niles West High School. So that was something different, very interesting, hosting a dinner gathering at a school, kind of like so. But we had a very interesting educational topic as well, and many different members, the council members, and new candidates as well has been participating. So Carla and myself was able to attend.
Okay. All right, we're gonna move right along and get a finance committee update from Sean.
Well, I think after 12 years, this is probably the longest committee meeting I had. Yeah, I was actually surprised when we took 27 minutes. The meeting was called to order at 5 o'clock. And we had a very enjoyable, in-depth discussion. Members Coyle and Sullivan were both there. We discussed the capital outlay projects for the year, of which the total allocation is $400,600. It includes $78,000 for each school and $20,000 held for items that may break during the year. So this is kind of a discretionary expenditures fund for each of the schools, for them to turn around and take care of things that are unplanned. And I think that's one of those things that, you know, Mary and I talked about years ago when the board had a different makeup, in the fact that you've got to look at the big picture, you've got to plan broadly, you've got to be prepared for those things that happen, because you don't know when the roof is going to leak or the chiller's going to go out, and you've got to be ready to turn around and take care of that. We then talked about PE uniforms, and I think Mary's done an excellent job on the bids there. And then we had a nice long discussion on the township treasurer and the township treasurer's report and what the impact is there for. And I'll be more than happy to entertain any questions at any point in time after I'm no longer a member of the board. And with that, the meeting adjourned at 5:27.
A lot of witnesses to that statement.
Okay, moving along to buildings and grounds committee update, Terry?
The
Buildings and Grounds Committee met on March 18th. Members Collins, Bessler, and Lee were present. Mary gave updated committee on the ongoing pre-construction planning meetings. She explained that focus groups met to understand space and building priorities, and architects have met with principals and district-wide groups from each department to talk about needs and share ideas. Each school will have 2 additional model classrooms to test out furniture to determine what works and what doesn't. The district-wide construction team and building construction teams, along with Mary and Dave Ulm, will meet to focus on collaborative spaces and teacher workrooms to determine spaces needed to facilitate meeting with students, parents, and colleagues, along with space for copier printers, small kitchen areas, and space for privacy. Bi-monthly, the administrative advisory group meets for an internal update, and weekly core group meetings will be held with the architect and the construction manager, director of facilities, and assistant superintendent for business. And the meeting was adjourned at 5:53.
Thank you, Terry. And last, the Education Committee update. Laura?
Right, so the Education Committee met, and members Bessler and Coyle were present. Other people were also present. Collins, Owen, Jim Lee, Sean Messmer, and Jeannie Edwards and Julie Hayden. There were new course proposals that were discussed, and Mr. Sean Messmer reviewed the new dual credit online course proposals taught by Oakton Community College. Computer architecture and organization is one, and objects and algorithms is the other one. They're high-level computer science courses and will earn District 207 elective credit. And this will begin in the year 2019 to 20. Courses will be available to students both fall and spring semesters. We'll have a first reading at tonight's meeting. Then we also talked about the MOU with IBEW, which is a great agreement that will give students a jump start in electrical trades and certification. And I think this is really a really great program to start with, and hopefully this will bleed over into other trades. And the hope is that it will give advantage to our students who are interested in a career in the building trades. Currently, the district is looking to agreements with the carpentry and plumbing unions and other trades as well. And we did mention about the Mechanical Contractors Association, who's very active in looking for more women in that industry. We had a public employee comment in Salem. We talked about the online courses and timeline for completion and other things. At that time, the committee adjourned at 6:42 p.m.
Okay, thank you. Monthly status of finances. Mary?
In your board packet is the February financial statements. Both the revenue and expenditures are in line with the budget. Where you'll see some variances has to do with timing of interest income, timing of some payments. But we are consistent in that we are within budget. Next month will be March, and we'll get our third quarter budget update, which will give us a more in-depth review of the financial information. I will entertain any questions that anybody has on the February financial statements.
Okay. Thank you very much. Instructional services. Sean?
No report this month.
Okay. Monthly update on FOIA. Ken?
One this month, and we've responded to it.
Okay. Back to Sean for new course proposals. This is a first reading.
So in your packet, you have descriptions of 2 courses that are actually online courses taught by open professors. As mentioned, these are upper level computer science classes. So students who actually, who will be eligible to take this have not only completed our internal sequence through AP in computer science, they've also completed a dual credit course with IIT. So this helps us extend the offerings that we can give to our students to get them jump-started on their way to either a degree in computer science or get them a head start for college. Any questions you might have on those?
Okay. Moving on to textbooks. This is also a first read.
Yeah, so the next piece here is textbooks. There's only one true textbook being adopted tonight, which is the Anatomy and Physiology. There are some new additions on here as well, but the only true new textbook is the Anatomy and Physiology, which is being brought forth as a dual credit course with Open, and so we'll be adopting that textbook. It is not an electronic textbook.
Okay. Okay, could I have a motion on item 9A through G, the consent agenda?
Second.
Thank you. Ginny, would you take the roll?
Austriaco?
Aye.
Bessler? Collins?
Abstain.
Coyle?
Aye.
Lee?
I'll stand for 9A.
You staying for one certain one?
Up for,
9A, the minutes?
I wasn't here.
That's
So
9A.
So you're staying just for the minutes?
for the
Yes,
minutes.
it's 9A.
and-
9A.
I think
Okay,
Jane
just
said
for the
me.
minutes, yeah.
And Jen also.
So how do you vote on the rest of it?
Aye.
Sullivan?
Can you clarify that you
So I
voted
says,
aye?
yeah, so I'll stay 9A, and then the from B to the rest, yes.
Aye.
And Owen.
Aye. Okay. Could I have a motion on item 10, grading and promotion policy?
So moved.
Second.
This is a second reading. Sean?
So this is the second reading of the board policy, which simply just removes the requirement for a final exam to be administered at the end of the course. It does not indicate that we will no longer have finals, it's just the requirement is removed. That decision will be made at the course team level with guidance from the principals in each of the buildings.
Any questions on this? Okay. Ginny, would you take the roll?
Bessler?
Aye.
Austriaco?
Aye.
Coyle?
Aye.
Sullivan?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
Collins? Owen?
Aye. Could I have a motion on item 11?
So moved.
Second.
This is on A and B. So, Mark?
Yeah, so the technology department is recommending the purchase of Sophos anti-malware software. We've had a malware attack kind of brewing throughout the network starting February 19th. And our tech department has been kind of fighting this off pretty nonstop for the last several weeks or month and a half. And we've tried all sorts of different software. The software that we were using at the time was Microsoft Windows Defender and Endpoint Protection. We've been finding out that that is no longer sufficient to fight off this particular malware, and in trying several different products, with Sophos software is the one software that has been successful. And because of the purchase being larger than $25,000, we are recommending the board approve that purchase for us.
And I think you have to know by tonight, they're honoring some
Yeah,
discount.
we've got, right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Computer and software purchases are exempt from the bidding statute.
Correct, which is why it was not public today.
Okay. All right.
Why is that?
Well, because of the fact that technology can change and can vary from individual schools, the biggest problem with throwing the bid on the street is 6 people respond with 6 different options. Everyone will believe theirs is best. So really what you need is you need the tech department to pick a path and then go out and get the best price they can for the item.
Any other questions on this?
This was the first time we found out this, the anti.
Yeah.
Well, maybe on this one, but.
We've had ongoing,
Institutions like this,
it's, yeah.
thousands of malware attempts hits a month.
And the software that we had been using had been sufficient to fight off that malware. This was a particularly nasty malware that was reinfecting servers and computers throughout the district. And the Sophos software is able to see that attack and prevent reinfections on computers that have been installed on.
And then the company Sophos Solution, we've been dealing with them for many years or so.
No, this is a newer company for us to be dealing with because we've been using Microsoft software before that. That was included with our Microsoft pricing, so it wasn't an additional cost. Before that, we had used Norton Antivirus.
Right.
And that was about $20,000 a year, so it was twice the cost of
But
this
this one's
software.
working.
This one is working.
The only analogy I can give you, Jim, is if you've been going to one mechanic for the last 30 years and you buy a Tesla tomorrow, you're not going to be going to the same mechanic. You've got to change the response with the technology that's out there for the attack.
Understood.
I don't mean to, but do we run different software, right? I mean, do we-
Currently, we're using Microsoft's software.
Only one?
Okay,
Right.
time out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would really argue this is not something we discuss in open session, considering it's a security issue for the campus of Batavia.
Okay, you're right.
We have a
I agree with
really
that.
good network team of engineers
Yes.
and
Okay.
architects.
Got it.
So that we hire them to manage this part of our business.
Okay. Any other questions on this? If not, we're going to move along to the uniforms, PE uniforms.
You have a, oh, this is A and B.
I'm doing
Sorry.
both of them.
I'm sorry, got it.
The district sought bids for PE uniforms, as we have for the past several years. We received 5 bids. The low bid was from our current provider, Ambassador Apparel. We are recommending a 3-year award and approximate cost. And I use the word approximate because if we have a couple more extra large double X and a couple more less of the other one, the price will change, but their per cost on each shirt and shorts is the lowest. So the total estimated amount